Alright, Chapter 5, Soldier Load Management and Training for the Foot March. The ability with the soldier to march and fight directly related to the load of the maximum individual load limit can be see the infantry soldier with non-accomplished managing soldier fight light only with the equipment required for the immediate admission. They receive with additional weapons and system material when required. Effective individual fighting loads. Minimum approach mark with the loads can be achieved with the safeguarding transportation portion. Load commander must decide with the tailor load for the result with the risks analysis. Transportation resources must be used with excessive load for the soldier, such as the CLOHE company level to the SLOHE battalion level. No soldier should be compelled to walk until he actually enters battle. From the point forward, he should carry nothing but what he wears, ammunition, his rations, and his toilet articles. When battle is included, he should get new uniforms, new everything. General George Patton Jr. Alright, Section 1, Transportation Responsibility. The soldier concept of the transfer, the responsible for the transportation part of the load, individual soldier, battalion, division, staff, transfer load from the CLOHE. The soldier load problem can be reduced to recognize existing transportation resources when entails dedicating resource for the CLOLHE and SLOLHE. Side for the company load, the table 5 shows the planning figure required for the load handling of each infantry companion company. Temperature company level, the battalion level, transportation resource provided with the company level and the battalion level is responsible for the company and command level controlling the transportation resource ongoing operation. Resupply. Company commanders will be made readily make with the risk of adjustment, operation, control, transportation, reduce the weight of the ammunition, food, war of the carry by the may, and to carry the immediately resupply with the concept of the basic load. 5.2 Expeditions. An extra transportation resource for the enemy and not give the battalions great reliance must be placed on extensive use for the helicopter-free unit of the HMMWVs used for the CLOHE and SLOHE. Company and battalion level that might entail with allocating dedicated helicopter from an entry brigade with the logistical support to release the air 3 HMMWVs trailers required each for the company loading and handling. Deploying and corpse plugging the transportation assets for the corpse assets placed on the operational control of the battalion used for the long haul load holding equipment forward with the deployment of the corpse transportation asset of the division releasing existing HMMWVs can improve the soldier loading carrying capacity of the units will directly resupply the forward units by airdrop of the steerable parachutes. Host nation support with the units shall be prepared with the use of logical resource of the conventional vehicles, agricultural tractor breast of the burden with their handlers, the human porters which and they obtain the host nation support running in the capture. These must be known as the legal parameters of the commanding equipment animals requires funding that must be provided with the renting equipment. Possible host nation resources should be identified with the contingency plan. At least one plant man in each platoon should be designated for the general purpose of the driver. Section 2, Factors Affecting Soldier Load. Commanders and level that must be understand what the factors affecting soldier load, subsequent the compatibility and limitation proceed with the unit, the physical limitation of individual soldier stress, weight with equipment, munition, affect the soldier's ability to carry the required load. These factors must be carefully analyzed by the commander and leader of the load determination process. 5.3 Physical limitations. Fighting load and condition of soldiers should not exceed 48 pounds. The approaching march load should not exceed 72 pounds. The load weight is included the clothing and equipment that is worn and carried. Soldier equipped to react with the enemy with reduced the burden of the load carrying caused the fatigue and lack of the agility, placing soldiers at disadvantage of the rapid reaction of the enemy is required. For example, the time soldiers need to complete the obstacle course is increased to 10, 20, 10, 15, depending on the configuration of the load for every 10 pounds. Equal carry with is least likely the soldier to agility with an assault with a degrade similar. The speed of the movement, the importance of the factor causing exhaustion, weight of the load carry with the current chart with the figure 5.1 shows the length of the time the work rate is the same with the before the becoming exhausted engineering expenditure for the march speed for the load, the burst rate of the engineering expenditure for the 900 to 1,000 calories per hour can only be sustained for 6 to 10 minutes. Fighting loads must be light to the burst of the energy available to the soldier or shoot used to moved into fight rather than carrying on the minimum fighting equipment. When carrying loads during the approaching march, if the soldier speed can use the rate of the expenditure over 300 calories per hour, can erode the reserves the energy needed upon the enemy contact. March speeds can reduce the loads with a heavier stay with reasonable energy expenditure rate. Carry awkward load with a heavy handheld items causing further degradation. March speed agility. The distance between march in 6 hours decreases about 2 kilometers for every 10 pounds carried over 40 pounds. Figure 452 shows the speed over the sustainable given loads which result in energy expenditures of 300 calories per hour. 5.1 shows the work rate energy expenditures hours over the minimum energy expenditure of the kilocalorie per hour. Your exhaustion line, 77 pounds and 56 pounds and 40 pounds at 3 miles an hour. Also, your easy terrain, heavy bush and sand, velocity kilometers per hour load, distance of march with 6 hours decreasing to 2 kilometers for every 10 pounds carried over 40 pounds. Time over the assault course is increased 15% every 10 pounds covered over the 40. Distance traveled reduced half over the average ratings of the 10%. 5-4 stress. Battlefield stress creates the ability of the soldier to carry their loads, the fear of the burns of the glycerin, glycogen of the muscles required to perform the physical task. The warm factors often overcome the physical peacetime, but the commander must consider the fact of the establishing load of each of the soldiers. However, the applying the strong load of the produced well-trained, the highly motivated soldiers can lessen of the effect of stress. 5-5. Munitions and equipment. The modern battlefield becomes some sophisticated with potential enemies developing protected equipment, which can present with the fleeting targets of the use of the technologically breakthroughs occur with increasingly heavy munitions due to the type of the acquisition. Communications equipment will require the frontline soldiers to defeat the enemy. In the future, the future soldier load will decrease only in sending him into the battle and adequately equipped with providing some of the means of loading handling equipment to help them carry the road equipment and weights of the selected item provided with the table 5-2. 5-2 shows weights in pounds of every one accounts. Unless parts of the load remove the soldier back of the carried elsewhere, the individual load weights for the too heavy, even with the rucksack, and remove the key teams of the battlefield cannot fulfill their roles unless they carry. Except that the load soldier must carry heavy loads, restrict the mobility of their units. Overload soldiers include the anti-armored teams. Individual carry the weights for the 111, 101, 190 pounds mortar. Teams individually developing 83 pounds of evenly distributing 100-pound mortar rounds of 3.5 pounds each. Fire support teams carry 90 to 95 pounds. M60 machine gun teams carry 70 to 87 pounds. All radio operators equipped with the AN/PRC 77 and the Key Y57 Vision secure device are also loaded above the maximum recommended combat load, 84 pounds. The AT-4 gunners are low-level voices intercept the teams in overload as well as the Stinger and engineering branch teams. Section 3, Echelon and Load Training. The diagram shows the concept of dividing the total soldier loading of the combat sustaining contingency load and the different level of the combat loads fighting and approach to march methods. Alright, at the top of the tree of the total possible load, the METT Note 1 tailoring calculated risk to combat. The approach to the march load, the goal is less than 72 pounds. Uses the battalion to part load, contact the drop assault storage cache courage of the battalion. Fighting load goal is less than 48 pounds. Also, the total possible load of the MTET note will use the later staying loads of the BNS4 use of the battalion, and also the plan for the higher level before deployment contingency load. 5-6 combat load. The definition of combat load is carried with the soldier to follow the minimum of the mission. Essential equipment is determined by the commander responsible for carrying out the mission required by the soldier to fight and survive with the intermediate combat operations. The combat load is essential load carried by the soldier forward so units of the load in company with the soldier other than fighting loads. The fighting load includes the bayonet, weapon, clothing, helmet, the LBE, the required amount of the ammunition from hand-to-hand combat operations requirement of stealth and carrying any load of the disadvantaged soldier designated for any of the missions should carry no more than the weapons and ammunition required to achieve the task load carried for the assaulting troops should be in the mission. Unless for some of the form of the platoon is available to cross-loading the machine gun ammunition of the mortar rounds, the anti-tank weapons, the radio operator with equipment cars for the assault leads with more than limited to 48 hours. The weight restricted of individuals move the dynamic operation extremely heavy fighting loads must be arranged so that excessive weight can be redistributed supporting weapons that can be shed with the assaulting troops before contacting the enemy. B. Approach march load. The approach march load includes the clothing, weapon, and basic load of the ammunition, LBE, small assault pack, light load with the rucksack and poncho roll. On prolonged, more dynamic operations, soldier must carry enough equipment and munitions to fighting with existing the supply with the offensive operations support. Soldiers designated assault with the troops need with the equipment that survived during consolidation phase. In addition, the carrying munitions assault limited to 72 pounds if the soldier load in force. Normally, soldiers with large rucksacks are not part of the approach march load and field pack and internal frame are on the only a small assault pack section is carried. The large section should kept in the platoon level. The L system is used for either the priority load system. The L should be carried. The individual duffel bag on one large L system for each of the man should be kept in battalion level. Emergency approach to the march. Load circumstances could require that the carried loads heavier than 72 pounds approach to the march throughout the terrain impassable for the vehicles where the ground and air transportation received that are not available. Therefore, large sacks must be carried. The emergency approach march loads can be carried easily by the well-conditioned soldier, which mission demands the soldier employed with the porters and load of 120 pounds can be carried for several days of a distance of 20 kilometers a day. All the loads up to 150 pounds are feasible. The soldier could be fatigued, even injured. If possible, the contact of the enemy should be avoided since march speeds will be slow. Shedding items on contact. Rucksack, assault packs, other items on approach march loads should be placed in each cache before the combat. Contact anti-ambush drills must be included. Shedding. Most approaching march loads, however, the preceding march makes it difficult for the soldier to retrieve his equipment later in battle and should only be used when the transportation is unavailable. 5.7. Tailoring combat load to the METTT. Confronted with the unacceptable load, soldiers may be required to carry senior loads that would likely to establish firm limits of the however realistic applying such guidelines. Soldiers not surviving without any modern battlefield his munitions, several items less effective than the enemy. Senior leaders must resist the temptation to prescribe soldier loads. Only subunit commanders assigned with a specific mission have the information of all the factors must be considered to decide the equipment needed with this mission, but they must also have the authority to decide what the loads for the soldiers must carry. The subunit commander received the guidance from his superiors, but any standard loading pope is only inhibits the ability to make the correct judgment. Consider for the risk judgment that must be and routinely take the unit to the commander's table 5.3. Use the table the commander prior towards the factor of the column 1 based upon the limited estimated situation. Estimated includes the complete analysis of the unit mission, end of the march, enemy situation, terrain, much march on the tour, and expected the weather, physical condition of the troops. After prioritization, commander decided which items to include the soldier load, which items have leave with the sustained limit load to the unit training areas. Unit trains areas. Alright, on consideration decision making included the column 2, 3, and 4 with the prioritization allowing the commander to tailor soldier loads and other on the mission to decide whether the items transported or the sustained load of the mission analysis to identify the requirements of additional transportation assets. Factor 1 question mission. To defeat the enemy in close battle and to get there quickly. Risk assessment 2 and 3. 2. Take. Reduce munitions later. 3. Leave. Food threat and protect environmental protection. Reserve munitions. 4. Remarks. Mobility parameter of 40-pound loads. And then it goes over to another one. And we're going to read the chapter. And 5.8. Echelon for the soldier load. When the site for the command of that load is established, need to determine the echelon battle with the Division, force level of trains, equipment equipped with the food soldier, given the approach proof loads, limits of individual soldier, fighting load, 48 pounds, approach march load, 72 pounds, commander, you're going to use the following guide, telling appendix, equipment supply with 3 alkalines, appendix D, company load, company commanders are responsible for the equipment included with the company loads, Sustainment Load. Battalion S4 for the responsible for the safe custody of the movement is sustainment load. For these responsible may be delegated to the company supplies sergeants. The definition of sustainment load is the following: the equipment that is determined for the commander to be required to sustain for the operation will be brought forward to the soldiers under the units arrangement required with the commander. 1. The sustainment loads include individual large size A bag containing small spare clothing, equipment, sleeping bag for the not required for survival, the limited of the personal effect, the protective items, the specific threat, armored vest, and chemical protective suits for the mobile store for the unit. The equipment should be stored with the forward operation base, such battalion combat trains or areas published in the format frontline soldier terrain with the S4 resupply, ammunition, food, water, not included the definition of sustainment load. However, the sustainment load could be pushed forward at the same time the normal resupply. Or resupply. Combat sustainment load contained with the ammunition, water, of the food, and able to operate with the resupply with the ammunition amount carried directly reflect with the front line with the soldier confidence and reliability. Frequency resupply the constant concept assuming the normal operation for the battalion resupply with the transportation carrying the immediately accompanying resupply should normally be under the operation control of the company commander. Contingency load. The contingency load is stored under the divisional corps arrangement until the required and consists of all the other items of individual unique equipment that required ongoing operation of the soldier's B bag with the extra clothing, TOW missiles and threat theaters from where there are no armed threat. 1 bags. 1 B bags should be palletized and company loads and contingency is TOA and E. equipment should be centralized in battalion packs. Contingency load are not flown with the deployment area of the parts of the initial store of the contingency load. The arrival of the theater plans should be made above the division level of the store unit with the contingency equipment laid items. The equipment can be returned to the unit for the operation situational change unit deployed in an area where items are in contingency are loaded and needed in of the unit and staged through rear assembly area. To the key personnel, the key to the process instruction issued for the soldier before the deployment listing of the items, the individual T and O and E. This should be not accompanied from the initial deployment. The contingency equipment could remain in the connos to be stored with the base area of the unit packs to be used for the school. The equipment is issued but required with the G4. Provisions must also be made that some items of the equipment to make backload from the battalion division control upon arrival in theater. This allows units to deploy having the maximum flexibility to add the contingency load where the theater in the fight. No, in addition with the LEB, rucksack, and the A bag and the B bag, soldiers leave with the C box, personal equipment at their home station before the deployment. Load plan. Units developing packing list that include the specific deployment option based on the guidance for the chain of command. And once the deployment has been taken into place, the authority should be delegated with the battalion commander to send items of division inclusion of the contingency load company. The commanders should be authorized to vary the composition of the combat sustainment load. 5.9. Minimum load concept. All soldiers, regardless of the threat, environmental mission, always carry certain items in common to the ending of the mission with the items of the minimum load configuration, along with the soldiers' assigned weapons minimum amount. Amounts added with the deletion of the MLC or minimum load configuration will be based on the unit's commander estimate situation. Section 5. Training. Foot marches. Training the foot march developing unit's ability to march in the destination condition to accomplish the mission. Unit characteristics. The force mounted with the dismounted successful combat depends on the troop, which can move dismounted with the cross-country covering the greater distance in a short time. The following unit traits important to achieve the goal of the unit: discipline, good leadership, teamwork, high morale, endurance, mental, and physical stamina. Physical condition. An essential element of the training foot soldier in proper physical mental conditions, developing stamina and endurance to perform the required result. The best result of the same with the cross-country march. The result of the physical training, the negotiation, obstacle courses are also useful. The load should be light distance short and beginning with the training will become more difficult with the training courses. By the end of the training, the troops should be accustomed to the rigorous conditions that are more likely encountered with the subsequent operations. Soldiers who are physically fit with the APFT for the standards are carry loads with 45% of their body weight, average 72 pounds, 4 kilometers for the 8 hours of approach to the march. For the amount of energy expended with the discomfort of the experience for the carrying of these loads for the carrying, reduce the soldier participated in the specialized program. The physical condition as a result, much of every other emergency loads can be carried with reduced speed. Soldiers' emissions to operate with the foot in long periods without resupply can be benefited with such training with the condition. After the 30-day preparatory training period, the soldier can march 12 miles within less than 3 hours loaded upon about 60 pounds with the energy expenditure. The rate was called the exhaustion of 2.5 hours. If the soldier would not receive the special training number, the consideration should be examined the developing program marching condition. Aerobic condition running should not exceed 3 to 5 sessions each for the week of 30 to 45 minutes for each of the sessions, except for the aerobic conditions could be counterproductive to meeting of the other physical fitness objectives. Extending marches without loads must, depending on the physical requirements of the infantry, with the soldier training program should include specific progress loading, bearing marching progression should be developed, increasing load distance march, not at the same time. The training meets the requirements of both aerobic and muscular leg backup, endurance progress. Extended march of 5 to 10, 15 to 20 miles should be mandatory. Training be scheduled regularly. Infantry and physical training program should include the schedule of 2 to 3 times each week. The progressive resistance and strength training, sustaining and improving the muscular strength. Also, muscular endurance training should be included. Training should include both upper and lower body muscle groups, the emphasize the upper body insert. Intensive progressive resisting training, 3 sections of each of the week of the 48 hours intervals should be mandatory. Soldiers should be who lack the adequate muscles and lean tissue for the upper body. Mandatory elements of any fitness program should be load-bearing, progressive charts, progressive march, resistance strength training, anaerobic speed, and agility training to include negotiating obstacles and confidence courses. See the following suggested program: physical conditioning training up the program for the 6 weeks, consisting of 4 1-hour daily workouts, one half-hour daily each week. To include 2 upper bodies exercise, push-ups, dips, and sit-ups and trips and pull-ups, 2 lower body exercises, sprints, relays, fireman carries, boot dusters, and set up and benches, 2 marches, 1 over the heavy load with the short distance, 1 light with the light load and longer distance, both combined 2 tactical situation missions. 2 spaced distances run of 3 to 5 miles at 80% of the heart rate. 1 light run of 2 miles 60 to 80% of the maximum heart rate. Sustainment program determining the commander based upon the 7 physical training principles, regularity of 3 to 5 times each week, progression of slowly, steady, increasing load distance, overload, working on unit until muscles are fatigued, verify, variety, circuit training, free weights, and calisthenic and isometrics, confidence, obstacles, courses, balancing, flexibility, muscular imbalance, recovery, stress, different muscle groups in each day, specificity, the body adapts to specific demands. Our nutrition. Proper nutrition can improve the soldier performance, producing the exertion required given the workload. The proper preloading bearing diet is high carbohydrates, the physical strength ability to carry the load, increase muscle glycogen and levels as buffer the reserve against exhaust. Soldiers with a high glycogen level could require less ration for shorter load bearing missions. The soldier low muscle glycerins. 513 Tactical Training. Units should train regularly with the dummy basic load with the ammunition exemption of the platoon load carrying test. It should also include the ARTEP example of carrying the average load of 70 pounds for the 12 miles followed with the tactical exercise followed with additional 12 miles. Tactical exercise complete within a period of 24 hours. 514 Leader Training. Improve the aim to fire and fire discipline to decrease the risk of the depletion of ammunition, all allowing the commanders to carry the reduced loads of the ammunition full mobility. Commanders, potential commanders, and staff officers must understand the following points. The composition load depends on the METTT factors. Load planning involves the subunit commander acting upon the guidance of the superior and serve the risk judgment requiring balance of physical ability of the soldier against the risk of not carrying items of clothing, equipment, and food, and war and munitions. The level of commander above the company may support the frontline soldier arranging the items and individual subunit equipment to keep them in train with the base area to provide with the resource fulfill the role of the platoon and base battalion. Echelon loads may be planned with the combat loads, sustaining loads, battalion level, contingency load, division level, and the equipment at home base properly accounted for, the safeguard available for soldiers. Junior leaders should be taught to make the risk judgment involved with the load planning and movement as well as load discipline. 515 Sustainment Integrated Training. Previously learned objectives should be integrated with the foot march to maintain overall proficiency and inject realism into the training. Subjects integrated with these required emphasis during the area's operation training and is conducted list of subjects that apply the most discipline. Camouflage, recon, security, map reading, use of compass, other navigational aids, fire, sporting aid, air defense planning, nuclear, biological, chemical defense planning, first aid, personal hygiene, field sanitation, occupation, biovacule, assemble area, tent pitching, field craft, preparation, individual small group rations, excavation casualties, carrying of clothing, equipment, reacting ambush, use of the arms and hand signals, and requests for the indirect firing. 516 Environmental Training. The training should be considered the terrain, climate, air of which in the event of the subsequent conducting operation. The training program must include familiarization with special equipment, applications, special techniques, tactical principles, special training procedures, the desert, jungle, arctic, mountain areas found in the panels dealing with those areas of operation. 517 March Discipline. March discipline must be stressed throughout the training aspects that require special consideration, maintaining a rate of marching distance between men and units and ensuring the proper time and use of the halt and resist the three troops and multi the MREP meal ready to eat wrappers or other refuse along the trail. They must observe pre-described sanitation procedures. All halt material could attract the attention of the enemy, could identify the force, should remove them buried, which when the contact of the enemy is imminent and no ways discipline must be observed the required security. Or Appendix A is unit standing for the operation of the procedure foot march. Appendix B1, example of battalion road movement and operation orders. And then it goes into Appendix C, foot care. Appendix D, assembly areas. And then glossary and references and acronyms.